All right, Brady, let's check out some of your second run, Willard Stubbie slalom. I'll put you up here against Finn. You were right with him here. On this app, I can tell from the gate above where you are until you fell, you were just a half a gate behind him, so you were right with him. But why I put you up against him is just, there's some things I like about your skiing. There's some things I like about his. And if we can put the two of you together, it would be a lot better. So let's watch where we can pick up some of his things I like and maybe put it into you, and you'd be even faster. All right, so one thing, and we have talked about it, go back to some of your videos, the arm swing for you, we got to eliminate. We have to come through the transition and not have our hands that wide, which promotes you to have this big swing forward with the outside hand. In GS, I like it a little more, arms wider in a balance and have that kind of a little bit more swing like that. But slalom, we want them out in front. What happens here is you drive the hand down like that. Now you're in no position to pole plant. It's too low. So what you have to do is pick the hand up again and pole plant. It tends to be late and behind you at a time where we want to have a forward pole plant to help move forward through the transition. Watch Finn come in through here. Well, through the transition, his hands are not quite as wide as you. Hands are more out in front. And, that's his pole plant. I mean, slalom is more pole usage. Sometimes it's a pole plant. Sometimes it's a tap. Sometimes it's dragging the pole maybe. Sometimes the pole swing, maybe not really actually touching. But we don't need this big stab, what we call like a blocking pole plant. We have the pole really going forward like this. Need to kind of get rid of that. Kind of got you both lined up here, so we'll move you together. Again, you can see your pole plant because you drove the hand down here. You felt I've got to pick it back up. Pole plant out here. Finn just had a little, he came through. Watch him. That's all it is. Took the pole, dropped it to the ground, little tap. Another thing we've talked about is how you get kind of squashed at the bottom of turns. I mean, your hips are below your knees, and just got to be stronger in the legs, resist those forces, stronger in the core. You don't have to be that way. You watch Finn come through, and he's still in a, if you want to call that a sitting position, but really more retraction. But he's never his hips below his knees, and that's hard to really get up and forward in the transition from that low position, and you're kind of late. He comes through with better direction. You can see where your skis. He's hitting the stubby with his skis pointing a little bit better, like here, and yours are still a little bit more down the hill. So, transition a little slower. And there goes that big hand up and back and pole plant. So if you watch Finn, comes through, and that's it. That is the pole plant. Come through with the pole horizontal to the snow, like we talk about when we're trying to actually clear tall poles. It's in position just to simply drop to the ground. And this is all he does. Just drops it right to the ground and picks it up quick. You have this whole hand goes up, back, and it's just a little bit slow. The pole plant helps us get recentered, rebalanced, get off the old ski. It's got to be quick. As soon as direction is done, as soon as we hit the gate or past the gate, you got to immediately have some kind of a pole swing tap or pole usage. And it's just a little bit slow. So when you come through, because of that, I don't think you have, quite as much direction as he does. It's close. It's pretty close, I will say. But, again, we want to get rid of this angled forward pole plant out here. It's more of a tap to the side. He just sort of here, just sort of a little drag of the pole. That's all it is. Look at that. Hands out in front. Just drops the pole to the ground, picks it right back up. And you got a big hand high and back. So at the time where we're trying to move forward in a transition, this is keeping you back for a while with that pole plant and hand swinging back. You do get forward, but like we're talking, it tends to be sometimes a little late. So you can see your direction, versus Finn. He could have probably had more direction also, but your skis are going this way when you're hitting the gate, and I'd love to see them a little bit more going that way. What I'd like to see you is Finn tends to just put those hands up in front. That's his go-to move. It's like home base. Keeps him out of trouble a lot by always looking to get the hands up in front like that. You can see you're coming through. You got one hand down. You're kind of leaning in now. Hands all over the place. Let's get those hands up in front. It's his go-to move. Keeps him out of trouble. Keeps him in the front of the boot. And moving forward. And there, because you go wide here, now the hand's going to come whipping down. And you kind of drive that way. But now you got to pick it up back to pole plant. Finn doesn't really have a pole plant there. Here again, you come through and you kind of, your hips, getting squashed down. All right, we talk about Finn comes through, just doesn't get quite, as squashed down in the hips at the end of the turn. Resists the force is better. Keeps him a little more balanced. Again, the wide arms, it makes you want to, you have this going on. And you got to go like that to try to pole plant. So, unfortunately, came in here, the wide hands, and just leaned in. Although you had the outside hand going, you just leaned in a little bit in the way to wait on the inside ski, and your day was done. Fink came through, got a little back seat, got kind of squashed there, and now he's got that, like you, that pole plant in the back. So it's all kind of related. I think if you get squashed down, you tend to want a pole plant like that. So, in review, first off, Brady, you're skiing great, you're attacking, you're right with him. I'm just saying there's a couple of things he does that if you can incorporate, it would make you even faster. A lot of things you're doing are awesome. So we want to try to keep the hands out in front more. We want to keep them, you don't want to have that crossover swing with the outside hand. All right, so we don't have to then raise the hand to pole plant. We want to pole plant more of just a drop of the pole, using the wrist to the ground, more of a tap to the side, and try to really resist those forces at the end of the turn, getting you sometimes squashed downward.